11.
All right, we're back. Hope you like those little clips on Panama. We got this book here, Understanding Power, Chomsky, the indispensable Chomsky. Understanding Power, the indispensable Chomsky. And it is edited by Peter R. Mitchell and John Schoffel. And it was put out recently. I think it's 2002. Yeah, 2002. And all the notes for this is online. We'll provide the links just to the lower right of your screen. But I'm just going to read you a little selection from the book because it really goes into the link between cocaine and the United States of America, and how it's not these Mexicans that are bringing the cocaine in, it's these army guys. Anyway, Noam's having a conversation with some people in the audience regarding Panama in one of his talks, and he says, and if you just look at how the U.S. media presented the reasons for the invasion at the time, it becomes even more obvious why people in the United States generally supported it. What were supposed to be the reasons for invading Panama and getting rid of Noriega? And the man says, drug trafficking. And Chomsky says, drug trafficking? Noriega was much more of a drug trafficker in 1985 than in 1989. Why didn't we have to go and invade Panama and get rid of him in 1985? I mean, if we actually had newspapers in the United States, which we don't, the first thing they would have asked is, why did we have to get rid of Noriega in 1989 but not in 1985? Well, take a look. What was the difference between 1989 and 1985? The man says, he was on the CIA payroll in 1985. Chomsky says, yeah, he was on the payroll. He was our thug in 1985. So therefore, we didn't have to get rid of him. But in the intervening years, he was getting too independent, too big for his britches. He wasn't following orders. He was supporting the Contadora Treaty, a plan for peace in Central America, and other bad stuff like that. Well, the United States doesn't want anything like that in its domains, so at that point, we had to get rid of him. But again, none of this was presented in the U.S. media at the time of these polls. What was presented was, he's the narco-trafficker that's destroying the United States. He's getting your kid hooked on cocaine. All right, with that kind of media presentation, it's not surprising that 80% of the population would want us to invade Panama. And so what you're getting a picture of here is kind of like a well-orchestrated protection racket run by the corporate media to get the United States to be able to invade any country it likes on the pretext of, well, say for the example, the drug war, for crimes that it was basically directing and responsible for. We're going to provide you with some links to more evidence that it's the United States moving most of the coke into the United States. It's the United States government anyway. It's not a rogue element of the CIA. It's de jure. It's the standard operating procedure. So with that, we'll provide you with links. You can learn more about this. You can challenge the United States on every time it brings up drug trafficking. Say you're the biggest one. And get this evidence around because people need to know more about this so they can act on it. And Hollywood producers can maybe do another Air America, which was an attempt, at least, to look at the United States' role in moving cocaine into the United States, or the government's role into moving cocaine into the United States. As Dick Gregory says, us black people, we don't own any planes. It's not us that's bringing it in here. So, oh yeah, one more thing before I go. Go see Bowling for Columbine. Excellent movie. It goes into the Cops TV program a little more detail than I could in the last couple of high society shows. But fine film. It will show how the United States is just basically a population that's kept afraid and fearful and pliant. And if it's not the drug war, it's another infinite war. So let's hope for the end to all infinite wars. With that, I'll leave you with that thought. This has been High Society. My name's been David Malm-Levine, and you are as high as you get off the net.
This informant, paid by police using taxpayers' dollars to continue his felony drug habit, was the link that allowed the police to raid a private farm, a working farm, a farm where honest Americans make their living. Now, the government, in its haste, has hired an army of criminals whose allegiance to the truth is at best questionable.
Mr. Rodman, it's a shame that your client didn't use as much sense in choosing what he planted as he did in choosing his attorney. But lately, the only variation that I'm hearing in your argument is the name of your client. Now, you can stand here all day, and you can argue the ins and outs of Illinois versus Gates, but you're not going to convince me that our government has not sanctioned the use of anonymous informants. Furthermore, there is no sacred protection of property rights in our country. You grow marijuana on your farm, be it an ounce or an acre of plants, that farm can be seized and that farm can be sold. What the hell is that? Well, you know, you can tell a lot about somebody from this stuff.
It's from your friends at Warren, Putnam, and Hudson.
A fishing rod.
Well, what do you think they want?
Depends what state they're from.
Arizona.
Arizona. Medicinal Marijuana Initiative? Or am I being cynical? Mark, I'm gonna miss you. Thank you for all your hard work.